Right, in today's video, I'm going to talk about grouping. So for grouping, if you see every, the concept is grouping. Concept. And the method is a three-step method. Three-step method, okay? And this is the first type of grouping. The other one will be quantity times value. Okay, I'll just add a divider here. Okay, so what does it mean by quantity times value? Let me cover, sorry. Let me cover this one first because it's easier. For the quantity, you can see like the number of 10-cent coin is 2 times as many as the number of 20-cent coins. The number of boys is 3 times as many as the number of girls. Okay, so maybe they mention to you, you'll see object 1, object 2, or identity 1, identity 2, you see ratio. Or you see a number as many as, or a fraction, or 3 times as many as, and it can be, say, a fraction. Object 1 is 2/3 of B, or of object 2. Okay, so they mention is like object 1 is 2/3 as many as object 2. So you have a fraction. And remember to do your reverse S. Link to the front, link to the back. Okay? Now, in fact, what you see here is looks like repeated identity. So let's say you have N2 is to N3, blah, blah, blah. This one should remind you of repeated identity, RI. Okay, RI. And you look at this part. Ratio, what's ratio? Ratio, where are you? Okay, give me a minute. Over here, yeah? Okay, so maybe boy, girl, and adults. Boy, girl, then girl is to adults. Or maybe 10 cents is to 20 cents, 20 cents is to 50 cents. Okay? But anyway, you know the number. So what this should remind you is number. Like how many? Okay? The next one is like more interesting one whereby you know the value of, say in this case, you know the value of N1, you know the value of N2, you know the value of N3. So you know the value, you see value. Okay, so you see example, money, or you see like adults buying adult ticket. Again, it's money as well. Like ticket, different ticket priced for different age. Or you can see, say, a person, let's say boy or girl, okay, being given, say, holding 2 flowers. So every boy has 2 flowers, every girl has 3 flowers, every teacher has 10 flowers because it's Teacher's Day. So they are holding, it sounds like they are holding on to something. Okay, sounds like they are holding on to something, hold on to objects like sweets, okay, sweets, flowers, a stamps or tickets, okay, tickets, or chocolates. How do you draw chocolate? Like that, okay. And in this kind of situation, we turn it back to grouping, because in my opinion, I think that the name quantity times value sounds very complicated, and I still like to call it grouping. And the method is also a 3-step method. Okay. So what are the 3 steps? Step 1, find one group. Yes, you know that it's a grouping question. So how do you define one group? What is in your group? If there are boys and girls, how many boys, how many girls are there in a group? If there are sweets and chocolates in the group, how many are there? If there are paid and free apples, how many paid apples are there in a group, and how many free apples are there in a group? Step 2 is group value of a group. And look out for 2 group values, group value 1 and group value 2. And for step 3, you need to find number of groups. Okay, so for number of groups, you always use the total value, and total value is always given divided by 1 group value, and make sure that both have the same units. If it's dollar for total value, make sure that it's dollar for group value. If it's cents for total value, make sure that it's cents for group value. If it's number of pence for total value, make sure that it's number of pence for group value. Okay. Okay, so my story for my students are, imagine, so I will tell my students, imagine you did well for your PSLE. So after PSLE, I actually gather all of you and to form a group of friends. Yeah, students turn friends, parents are invited as well, to go to Golden Village GV to watch Paw Patrol, or to watch what's the show called? Oh my god, I can't remember what was the one I used for my students. Okay, maybe watch Avengers again. Yeah. So then they will go, okay, but anyway, because they knew that it's a treat for them. And then I am going to treat them popcorns, and because it's a very big group, maybe say 200 people. So what I'm going to do is I told them that, hey, why not you share the popcorn? So when you hear the word sharing, it's a divide, and then you share the popcorns into smaller boxes. Okay? Yeah, so this is what I actually told the students. And since now we are at the topic of grouping, I can also share with you some of the shorter questions or even MCQ that requires you to use grouping method to solve. So one of them can be alphabets. Say A, B, B, C, A, B, B, C. Okay? Or can be star, heart, star, heart, heart. Example. Or it can be pattern 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. Example, okay? So the step is the same. You need to find one group, find a group value, and find a number of groups. And knowing this method will give you about 75% of your steps on autopilot. Okay. And just to elaborate, sometimes in some questions they use each. Okay, they use each. Yeah, for each group or each packet. And in some questions, they use like list number. Yeah, list number of say girls in the queue. Yeah, or the list number of boys in the queue. Okay, of somebody. Yeah, that's when you need to use grouping as well. And for this kind of question, you can see that it's quite common in some exams. Yeah, so this is when you need to use grouping as well. Okay. Yeah, so go and find such questions and then you can do it. And there'll also be one which is called the equal. Okay, so for example, they give you like 3 pens for $1, 4 pencils for $3, and they say equal number of pens, so equal objects, or equal objects, or equal amounts of money spent. That's when you need to activate your LCM. Okay, activate your LCM, lowest common multiple. It came out as a PSLE question before, so take note of that. And there's one more which requires you to use pairing, which is grouping as well. So for example, they gives you a series of numbers, okay, and then you need to do pairing. And this is what we call the rainbow method. And take note, when you have odd numbers, okay, this works for even numbers. And let's say for odd numbers, you have to chop off the last part. Okay, chop off the last part. Okay, I try to draw a knife lah. I'm not sure whether it looks like a knife or chopper. This is what we call the rainbow method. The rainbow method. Yeah, so the names of my methods are pretty kiddish. Yeah, because I'm not trained in any pedagogy. But I think that allows me to roam around freely and really understand how kids study rather than throwing them with some complicated terms and expect them to understand. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, some people, they agree with this kind of method. Some see it as not professional. So I'm okay with both. Yeah, so if you learn anything from here, just just add it into your solving process. Okay. And in 1 year's PSLE question, there is like a series of pictures being posted, being pinned together. Yeah, so Yeah, so the same pin is used to pin the front and the back picture. When you see repeated patterns, when you see patterns, likewise, over here, you use grouping. Okay, just take away, just cut off away the front part because it's not repeated. The pattern starts here. Okay, starts here. And make sure that you minus 2 because you took away 2, so you minus 2. All right, I think that's about it. So in short, this is the go-to method. 2 GVs, remember, sometimes it may be 3 GVs, and then your step 3. Sometimes you may use 3 GVs, for example, let's say the total difference between this and that is 200. So your group value will be small difference within a group. Yeah, so your group value will adjust accordingly because you need to match the total value that's given. So let me repeat. Let's say in the question, it says that the total difference, which is the total value in this case, is 200. So you need to go to the small difference within the group, which is one of the group values, and then you divide accordingly to give you the number of groups. And moving on, the step 4 onwards are all maths because the 3 steps somehow already give you most of the information. Okay, with that, I will see you in the next video.